So before we jump back in, Debbie pointed out to me that we forgot to include the ARPA fund in the back of the book, so we didn't go over it. It's up on the screen. It's really 2 lines, in and out. We will create those projects as you approve things in there to account for each project you approve separately. Right now, the only one in there is the BKD contract. So, not a lot to talk about at this point unless you have.
Did we get the second half in this coming calendar year?
Yes, so we got the first half on June 1st, so we will most likely get the second.
So you're
In
sort
June.
of booking 14.9.
Yes. So, do we want to go back to the sheriff first?
Sure.
So the 5.5% COLA, and I added in that lieutenant position if that's his first priority. With those 2 things in there, he still has about $65,728 in the budget. Even though he's in the red, he's only in the red his capital purchases.
And I'm probably I need to cut the SRO position. That'll allow me to get the merit raise and the part-time.
But the SRO position only truly costs us what, John?
27. Well, whatever, 27,441.71.
I wish you could find money elsewhere and keep him in, but
Well, to do all 3 of those, I'd have to come up with $91,458. If I cut the $15,000 out of my training down on the very bottom, that brings me up to $80,700. So that makes me, I'm only $11,000, $10,300. I can probably find that. Betsy, start looking. She's listening. So I know I can take 5 from my salary, from my ammo line. I can find another 5,000. So if it's okay with you, then I'll do the SRO for Blair Oaks, the merit raise for 1%, and the part-time salary at 4%, along with the lieutenant position. I'm upside down, and I'll cut the training funds in all 3 divisions, the 15 grand. And that brings me to 80,000, so I'm still short about $11,000. But I can find it in my budget.
so if we cut training, what,
Training's just getting more expensive. And the certifications are more expensive. And we gotta have the certification. Luckily, one of the certifications that I was going for was, and it's $875 a person, was crime prevention. And just today I got an email. They're offering it free online. So I also sent it to Health Department. I think Chris White, he's going to take it too. So I can make that work. I can find $10,000.
Do you guys have any issues with the items he wants to add?
Well, I'll cut on my department requested, I'll cut the jail detective and the increased training funds.
I don't even saw another.
So we're going 5.5% COLA,
Yes.
then we're doing 1% merit.
Yes. But
And
not
then
everybody.
We're adding the SRO,
Yes,
and we're adding the lieutenant for professional standards.
yes.
Oh, it's getting fat.
Me, or are you talking? I only had 1 piece of baklava, Jeff, get off me.
Hey, it's Christmas time.
That is good.
These calories don't count.
If you can make it work, I'm fine.
Got your 2 yeses then.
What's your yes to, Jeff?
Well, if we're doing a COLA, we need to cut some stuff back. I don't like adding too many people, so that's just my hang up. But we've got 2 people that are saying yes, so
I did
there's no
cut,
sense sitting there arguing all day.
no, but I did
So-
cut 68,000 off my budget already.
I don't want you running short on bullets. I don't see them going down either, so
No, and
just, if we're gonna wait till everybody agrees on stuff, we're not gonna get the budget done.
We are-
So,
Yep.
roll with it.
So I
If
have
there's
2
something
that are
really-
okay with that. I will work with
Yes.
Betsy to make sure
Yes.
we get this balance
Yeah.
with those items in there.
yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
That would make assessor and sheriff done. So, let's do public works next.
Okay, so when we're saying we're okay, we're going 5.5 for everybody.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we gotta,
Do you hit,
5%,
do you,
but we're proceeding under that
Yeah,
assumption.
so it's in the numbers at the moment, so you can see it. If we come to something we're not in agreement with, we can pull it back out. But as of right now, the 5.5 is in there.
okay.
It's across the board for everybody for EMS at this point.
So we can discuss EMS. I'm having a hard time coming up with a way to change EMS.
In
because
what
of their
way?
steps.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if you would do, even if we did an additional percentage, it messes with the step itself. Cause I'm gonna give you a percentage of January 1, then that just reduces the amount needed to get you to the next step. It's complicated. So, and I don't really know that we should increase every step going forward by a certain percentage,
So-
because that's harder.
No, I don't think you wanna do that, cause that, the way that it's drawn up, and I went through it all. So your first step, and I just did it on one of them on paramedic starting out. The first step is 4.9% raise, step 2 is 3.73, and then when we get to the middle, step 3 is 2.7%, step 4 is 2.63, and then 2.56 for step 5. So it's loaded in the front to try to get you here for the first few years, and then that's where the thought was, the theory was, once you get them here for that long, then you can.
Well,
scale
hopefully at
back.
that point, they're making enough that it would make it hard for them to leave and go
Yeah.
somewhere else and start over,
Yeah,
but.
if they're gonna stay, they're gonna stay. And I think this is an Eric question, we just need to work with him on it and leave it alone for now.
I will tell you that this year, he did request that we do something for the people that are over step 7.
So step 8 would be, and I was thinking that COLA for them,
We did it as a flat dollar amount, so you would get $1,000 for being over, so you would get a flat $1,000 for anyone over step 7. Which essentially to an EMT is an additional step, for a paramedic it's a little less.
so we're on public works now, and then we'll talk about that one later.
Yep.
Okay.
So Public Works with the 5.5 in there, that builds in a deficit in their fund by about $94,000, but that also still includes that additional position. So we could take that new position out, which would save a portion of that. They historically have been one of the funds that kind of has that deficit built in a little bit. We've been trying to cut it back. Eric and I have been working hard to get there. I'm not concerned by that dollar amount, but this does not include the adjustments that he proposed after the budget was done.
We've made a lot of adjustments, we just did some, like, a year or two ago.
So yes, I actually have that
was thinking it was just last year, or the year before.
So I went back to 18 and dropped in the changes that have happened since 18, all the way through. At this point in time, it was a 4% COLA, but what those adjustments are, there's some significant changes in their department. This last column is total over the 5 years.
You know, it also, I think, eliminated a position and adjusted some other salaries on a couple other positions. But now we're just gonna go back to wanting to add another position, so I'm not really for that either.
And I have voiced my concerns with Eric. I don't necessarily see a problem with his progression plan as much as the implementation of it. So, I feel like there needs to be something that if you're moving from an equipment operator 1 to an equipment operator 2, and you are above maybe the starting salary for that next level, that it's a flat dollar amount that you receive. So you either receive what it takes to get you to that or X dollars, because he is going to have some longtime people that have been here long enough that if you do it as a percent or something like that, it's going to make them more than the next step. Even though they're moving up 1, it would put them above the next one. So, I don't know, I feel like we've done a lot of changes to their department in the last few years. I mean, we did almost $100,000 in adjustments the year we changed the starting salaries. We did 27,000 the year after that, 18,000 the following year. So we've done some significant dollar amount changes in their department.
It was 2 years ago, we did it right at the end of the year, but that was with the understanding they didn't get the COLA, it was just the adjustment.
We
Was
did
it
that?
longer?
I don't think we did that in the last few years. Because they've received the COLA since 18.
We did it with Larry Benz originally, the very first one, what, 5, 6 years ago. And then we did that new organization chart.
That was
Is
what
what-
happened in 18 to 19.
Yeah, is what we did. And kind of, so I think that was our last,
So I was trying to pull up Eric's road and bridge salary spreadsheet that shows. So in his sheet, he has the new position out. And then he has about 20,000 in adjustments proposed. At some point, I think you have to see some of that attrition. You can't take all of the money that someone's built up for being here 30 years and divide it out over everyone else.
but everybody does that.
Everybody?
Not
A
everybody.
lot of our,
Especially the ones without any more than one employee.
Right.
The auditor doesn't do it.
No, the auditor doesn't.
Can you come here and tell me why I'm not able to pull this up? Am I in the right territory here?
I think you have to be in, is there not one called commission?
Yeah, there is a commission.
And then in commission is their commission budget, 2022. And then, no? There's my proposed salaries, is that the one you want?
Well, what are we, yeah, I guess, is that where we are now?
This is Eric's sheet he
Oh.
sent you guys by email. You want me to forward that email to you?
Yeah. Thank you.
I just sent that to all three of you.
We're in Road and Bridge now?
Road and bridge salaries, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. With the 5.5%, they are currently in a deficit already. So do you want to
How,
have
how,
it?
how deep into a deficit?
Almost 100,000, 94.
Do we have a step pay charge for public works?
We don't at the moment, but in that email I just forwarded to you, he has something he's calling a progression plan that they are trying to work towards. Per year path progression plan is what he's calling it. But it hasn't been approved by you all. I think it truly outlines what's required for, you know, an equipment operator 1 versus 2 versus a 3,
That's what-
and what, yep,
This here?
that, yep.
So at some point, we could have all technician 3s,
In his world, yes,
and that's not.
and I don't know that that's the best plan to have. I think you have X number of 1s, X number of 2s, X number of 3s, and when one of the ones above you opens up, then you have the ability to move. But that's just my 2 cents. It's definitely not their opinion on that. Their argument to that would be they want every equipment operator to be able to operate any piece of equipment.
Well, they can't. They're just gonna be a technician 2, because we don't have a technician 3 position open. I mean, at some point, we make them all directors.
Yeah, because they're not gonna be able to advance.
So, I see where he's coming from.
My fear is that, I mean, most of these were not in the proposed budget from the department to me. But I see the problem of, oh, I'm gonna move so-and-so up, but that's gonna pay them more than the crew leader, so now I gotta move all my crew leaders up to accommodate that one. That isn't the way we should approach
No.
the budget. But again, my 2 cents. Yeah, I know. There is one position that, I feel probably does deserve some additional funding, and that would be their GIS technician, Andy Myers. I think they've given him some additional duties and things with mapping that, I think that would be additional work that maybe he hasn't done in the past, that you guys tell me where you wanna land.
I don't know, we just made a bunch of adjustments to it not that long ago. And we're doing the 5.5% at this point.
So our goal is to find X dollars here right now?
I don't think so. I don't feel bad about the $94,000 number. That
Okay.
includes the 5.5. I have some concerns if we go much more than that.
Okay.
So if you guys are good with that, are there any of the other adjustments on his list that you want to see done this year?
That number included the extra
And
person
I can
and
remove that
part-time.
extra person, yes. Yes, so
Yeah.
I think he's made it clear that they're willing to eliminate the new position. Instead of taking that $63,000 person and creating two, they would just replace it with one at a lower salary.
Okay.
And I would be good with that.
Okay, so I will
I would be good
remove
with that.
position. And then, are there any of the other adjustments that you all want to see done?
You're saying right now they're in the red?
They are. So it's about 94, but that one position, if we take it out, we'll probably save them about 40. So we'll get back down to like 50,000, which in the past, we've been closer to 300,000 or 400,000 in the red, so.
Yeah,
There's has some fluctuation depending on how many snowstorms we have and things like that, so there is, if we have a really bad winter, it's not gonna look very good, if we have a really good winter, it'll look a little better, so I'm not concerned with that dollar number.
And then that money comes from general revenue.
What?
That chart,
Make up for the red.
No, they have reserves at the moment that would cover it. They even have enough reserves that we're talking about putting one-time funding back in for certain things at the end of the year if their cash forward is healthy enough.
Right, and those are one-time funding things, or
Right.
not salaries, which is gonna be year to year. So, I'll be in the meantime, say no again to the adjustments. I think we made a bunch of them.
well, I'm okay with adjusting, eliminating that one position.
Right, do you want
What?
any of the other adjustments, use a no to the other adjustments?
I'm a no to the other adjustments.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so, while we're looking at his email, he also has a planning salary amount there. He did not include adjustments to planning in the original request, but when he came back up, he did for two people in there as well. One of those people would have been a $15 an hour person that was getting a slightly larger adjustment, but with that 5.5% COLA.
Took care of that.
It's not required.
Yeah, so that's what
Um,
I'm,
So, are you guys a no to those adjustments as well?
Oh, you didn't have that in this?
It wasn't in my request, but attached to his email was a separate sheet that had 2 more adjustments on it.
Okay, so they had a adjustment to 29,480, which is adding a 4% COLA. This is the same one we put the half cell phone stipend on, right?
No. This is 2
No,
other.
that was,
Same department, 2
Yeah.
other people. So we did add the half cell phone stipend for the part-time person in that department. So first time we've done cell phone stipend for a part-timer. That's the same department.
So a half-time, or a half a phone is 180, or a half stipend?
Yes, normally it's 360, so half of it would be 180.
Okay.
I'm probably a no on this.
What?
I'm probably,
No
no,
nays as well?
yeah.
Anybody else? I need 2.
I was trying to find my notes on it. So the 5.5 is gonna bring the part-time up above what the goal was to get it to anyway, the 15.
Yeah,
Not the part-time.
oh,
So it's the administrative assistant in their department was one of the people under $50 an hour. The 5.5 will get her above that.
Okay.
He was proposing an additional adjustment to her.
But it's not needed now, or it is needed, he still wants
This,
it?
this one would be needed.
Oh,
I was taking her to 31.2. He's asking to go to 33. She's currently at 29.9.
what are the initials of this person?
CN.
Okay, I'm looking at the right spot.
So
Where is planning?
planning's in general, 173.
Page.
They're page 54.
Okay. So what's your net number right now for planning?
For planning. $196,717.
Which is less than the 20 amended budget.
So in 2021, they had an additional full-timer for part of the year.
Okay.
So that's why that one's higher. So we had a full-timer that retired and went part-time
It's
during
within,
the year.
it's within, well, it's also, okay, below the budget, below projected for 2020.
Right, because
Because
that
the same
full-time
thing.
position went
Right,
away.
okay,
Yep.
got it.
I'm just gonna stick with the 5.5 on those.
Is that what you
Here
said
now.
too?
yeah, I'm just,
Might as well make it unanimous. Although you didn't need it, right?
Okay, so I'm going to vote
5.5 makes a difference. It's-
all of general fund together. So because of the adjustments we did to taxes, one being use tax and the other being sales tax, general fund is to the black about $157,000. That's with the 5.5.
Okay.
We do have multiple requests from them that I kinda gotta go down down the path and you guys tell me yes or no. Let me get the correct spreadsheet open here.
Make a note that next year, put my budget book in a 3-ring.
In a 3-ring binder.
Yeah. I can keep inserting pages then.
Never thought about that. I take the stuff that I have laying in there loose.
Okay, so we're gonna take them one by one. Treasurer's office did not request additional people or adjustments, but requested that overlap of time to train a new person.
Right?
I don't feel like we should budget that up front. I think if
Just
you
let it
guys-
happen?
Yes, if you guys want to let that happen, I'm okay with letting that happen. We also don't normally, budget payouts, so Mark will have a payout of, time. at the end.
Accrued vacation.
Yes, we don't normally budget that, so, I think we go into the year knowing their budget's gonna be off in salaries when we get to December. But if you want to give him the okay to overlap for 2 weeks to train somebody new, I don't have an issue with that if you don't.
So if.
And that only presumes that that person is hired at the same or bigger number. I mean, it could come in a lower number too.
Correct.
Okay.
You would hope it'd be a little lower.
Well, it might-
Therein lies the problem, is that it's gonna come in at the same salary as what they left at, if you go by history.
Right, although I think you'll be difficult to find somebody with the same qualifications
I think so too.
of the departing.
But if the money's in there, I sometimes think that that isn't
Well, we'll
necessarily
get-
the argument, but.
I know, but we'll get a sheet, right?
Right,
But they've
I-
got the money in there and you get the sheet and.
Well, they may have the money in there, but then again, the money is gonna be short by paid out and by duplication of, so they really don't have it all there
right.
if they wanna live within the budget.
Well, if they bring somebody in at, say, X amount of dollars is 45,000, and they find somebody just off the street to fill the seat, and it's not qualified or anything, I mean, they still send that pay form through at the 45,000, and I don't know if there's really any way for us to stop it from happening if it's in our budget. That's why I've never.
Well, yeah, that's, we're,
We got the pay charts, it's supposed to be a starting salary, and so,
I hear you.
it's frustrating.
Are you good with leaving it what it is at
Yeah,
the moment?
yes.
Yes.
I'm okay with
Okay,
it. You just gotta make it. It's
so
not just because of that office, it's all the way.
Right,
around.
no, it's,
next department is, public administrator, so taking his part-time administrative assistant to full-time, and then adjusting the 2 I had in there. Now, I did adjust their adjustment amount after the 5%. So I told you earlier, we do the COLA first, and then the adjustment is the amount to get them to that set salary. So I did adjust the adjustment amount to get them to the same salary. So in total, the adjustment for them is the same, it's just they have a higher COLA and a smaller adjustment to get them to the same number. Now, Ralph did have higher adjustments requested than what I have in here, and if you want to do that, I have to find his amount.
57.
So, this one here's gonna throw me for a curve, because it was jacked up and changed, and then Ralph came in, so we've been trying to make some adjustments.
So he asked for, adjustment to his chief deputy,
Which
which
they used to not have.
they used to not have, and so her salary has changed significantly over the last 2 years already. So I did not adjust it again. Sorry, I'm trying to find his actual, he was asking that she go to 47.
And what will she be? With,
She'll be
with-
45, 196.
With
the
five.
COLA, yeah. So, I don't know that. And then he was asking for one of his deputies to go to lead deputy at 35 and the other one to go to 33. I compromised and did 34 and 32. Because I think those are the actual starting salaries for those positions in the grid we used to use for a while.
So I'm gonna start at the top and go with the chief deputy. If we go chief deputy, that's gonna put them at the top of the pay scale.
So my concerns with that is that we have some other chief deputies in other departments that are barely at that point or slightly above that have been here longer. So that was my reason for no.
That's where I was gonna go with that.
Not that I don't think she does a wonderful job and has helped her out a lot.
Correct. So the next one would be one of the deputies.
It's the bottom one that's going to 34. He asked for 35. Which I think. So a deputy one in those, it's collector, recorder, assessor, clerk, and now public administrator. Starting salary was 30, and then the next one was 32, and then there's a 36. We haven't hired the last few that because we haven't found anybody to hire at 30,000. So. So I guess the question is, do you want to adjust that to 35 instead of 34?
So what everybody's in
What?
for their deputy collector, recorder, clerk,
All of them are
administrator.
over that amount.
Because of the time served or
So
because
the-
we started them?
The newest ones have come in 34.
Which would be about in line with when we started it at 32 or 3 years ago when we adopted the pay grid.
Right,
And
so-
added the COLAs.
Right, so yes, it should have moved up. And I think the difference here in the
Let's
two
just-
in his department is their experience and the amount of experience they had prior to. So he was actually asking for one to be higher than the other.
So, okay, again, what's to make her with the 5.5?
With the 5 and, well, she would go to 34,000. So he's asking for 35. Do you want to give him an additional $1,000? And then the other one's going to 32 and he was requesting 33, so.
And if those numbers were plugged in, what's the lower right-hand bottom line number for a public administrator? A -2.
Yeah. I'm not gonna know, if you're gonna add 2,000 plus benefits to whatever the number is right now.
Hey, I'm glad I don't see, I don't put my hands down,
It's not the
hand.
It's not the hands, it's the
oh,
foot.
I
I don't know how.
So it's 251,846 at the moment. And that's a significant increase from prior because we are taking that part-time to full-time already.
It is a big, it is a big number. It's not as big as the budget officer first talked about, is it?
Well, it should be more than what I first talked about, hopefully. Why are we less? Did I do something wrong? Oh, because we increased his revenue by 15,000. We talked
Okay.
about
Yeah.
his fees, so we changed his fees in there already.
Well,
I'm
that's,
like, wait a minute.
maybe that's one of the reasons the people deserve some money is because of what the top lines become.
Well, I don't know, I actually think the fee number is down. Overall is down. Cause last year's budget was 78, we're going to 65.
What was, yeah, but last year's activity
So
was
that
what?
was prior to Ralph.
I know,
And
but,
we were,
yeah,
yes, but we were 100,000, we were like 99, we were like 89, if you look at history prior to.
the negative number?
Huh?
Oh, you talk about the revenue number?
The revenue number.
Yeah, well, this is, you don't fix these problems in, overnight.
So let's just pull in,
So last year, we changed, how come I've got a note about adding or changing a lead deputy? But neither one of those are a lead deputy.
that was, so his chief went to a lead, and then when Ralph came, went to a chief. So
Okay,
we have jumped her,
okay, so the lead went to the chief. The chief was eliminated, went to the lead, then.
so
back to the
16
chief.
was 100,000 in fees, then we went to 78, 66, 68, 29. We're coming back up. So we've,
Right.
we had a few years where that was not being done correctly.
I'd like to help Ralph as much as we can. I think he's, you know, by rights, this should be his first year, and he came in.
No, I think Ralph's doing a great job,
yeah.
and I'm trying to help him as much as I can. We're taking off a big bite with changing the full-time, our part-time to full-time already, the decrease in fees. We went from 189,000 in deficit in his department to 251. So, it's a big jump. I'd like to eat the elephant in smaller pieces. But.
I'm gonna vote for them, for these, for Ralph's request, but we'll see how that goes. I'm in favor of granting those two numbers that he's asked for.
So we're still gonna have
Yeah,
clerk 1 and clerk 2, or are they both clerk 1s?
I think you're gonna, his proposal was one would be a lead and one would be a 2. Which he's still in line with those numbers. The lead should be 36,
Okay,
and the other one should be 32, not 33, so he's off 1,000. In both of them. One up 1,000, one down 1,000.
but that's without any COLAs on those starting lines, without those starting moving. Because when we implemented this, 2 years ago,
Right,
which that could be argued either way, I guess.
so,
I'm okay with it. I'm with Harry.
I'm adding them in, I got 2, sorry Jeff.
No, it's just,
I was trying to catch up with the ones from
yeah.
last year that we changed too, and my notes aren't as clear. I didn't know if these were just what he requested last year, and if we did them or not. Because I think last year was requested for the deputy to be
Are you
33.5,
good with the chief
so.
deputy being where she's at? That one concerns me because you have other chief deputies that are not where.
No, I didn't like that one. So was there an adjustment to it, or just a
He was asking that
5.5?
it go to 47.
Now, she'll be at what?
Huh?
What will she be at with the 5.5?
She's 45,196.
So that one I was not okay with when I was looking at it originally.
Well,
And then
that one I
went down
had
to.
problems
Yeah,
with just
so-
because the comparison of other chief
I
deputies.
think
that have been-
Harry's was just for the 2 lower, and I'm for the 2 lowers.
So,
Just the 2 lower ones?
I want her to have 46 instead of 47, and you guys are at 45 and change or something, right? So I lost that one. whatever.
no adjustment on the chief is where I was at.
Okay.
But then on the other two, that one wasn't gonna be a heartburn, cause I think we're getting them more
Okay.
comparison.
125 recorder is just changing her MOU to where you guys cover the 5th deputy. Currently, she pays the salary, you pay the benefits. She wants you to pay the whole thing. I currently have the whole thing in there as a name for it. Do you have? And the history of that was there was a 5th person in their office up until the last year of Larry Rodman's term. That person quit, he did not fill it, Ralph did
40,
not fill it,
40.
Judy
What
came
they-
back asking
40.
for it. But I will say, when Larry Rodman was here, he funded the whole thing from his recorder's fund. So that's the difference.
So
And
at,
I do have it in the budget as you guys paying the whole thing.
and your lower right-hand number is?
A negative $16,092.
So we asked her to pay the 16,000 out of her recorder's fund.
How healthy is that?
The recorder's fund is healthy.
300 and, no, that's not it, 30, where am I? Cash forward, 244, 30.
She's gonna carry forward about 244,000.
Okay,
We've never done an MOU like that. We've taken the approach that an MOU normally is to pay, fully fund either a full or a part-time position. It was a little different when she came up mid-year this year and asked for her to pay the salary and us to pay the benefits. Not that you can't do an MOU for that, but in the past, it's always been your
All or
either
none.
pay. We try to get away from salary adjustments, like
Yeah.
we're letting you do adjustments with your other funds. You're either funding a position or
Yeah,
not.
it's more of a supplemental raise. Most of them were.
Right.
So, then we did kind of get away from those. I don't remember if we have any of those left,
Raise ones? No, we don't.
so.
16,092 negative is okay with me.
And her not paying, you're good with. Sam brought up her paying that difference, you're good with her not paying it.
It's just gonna come out of the recorder's fund?
Well, we would
Well.
have to do an MOU to that effect.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Which, general fund's healthy, I don't know
Oh,
that it's
all right.
fighting over 16,000,
No.
but.
Speaking of the devil, who just walked in.
Got extra listeners today.
Were you listening downstairs?
Of course,
Okay, good for you.
So you got $16,000?
I do. But I did want to mention the recorder's fund is healthy. I do use it for a lot of IT things. And for the last 2 years, we've been trying to do a software changeover. You could talk to Brian about some confidential issues we had. If I do that, that's going to take a big hit on the recorder's fund because I will use it for that. And when Larry was the recorder, he got angry and decided he's just gonna pay for it out of the recorder's fund. So he never did, I don't believe, ask. I could be wrong, but.
I don't remember, I think that was prior to me even, when you
It
had that bid
was,
first.
it was prior to Kristen, but salaries really should all come out of GR, and I hate to lose her, or any of them.
And Judy will still have an MOU for next year, either way, for the 2 part-time positions. She currently funds those out of her recorder's fund.
Okay.
I'm fine with it. I mean, Judy's been great to work with on these things, so if there's something that comes up, you know, later down the road too, that we need to get that maybe is not just for the recorder's office, you know, that we could use across other offices and stuff, I think we'd be able to work with her on it too, so. And we'd get rid of one of them MOUs. The part-time ones too, I mean, we're using those to catch up on some of the scanning and that stuff, so.
So, we didn't talk about as we went through, we do have currently four MOUs. Judy, which she funds the 2 part-time positions and the benefits on one at the moment, but next year will just be the 2. The sheriff has one out of his, sheriff revolving fund to
One and
pay
a half.
for 1.5 people that do CCW permits. Prosecutor has one that he funds, a full-time attorney out of his delinquent tax, I think.
I'm okay if Judy wants to pay for mine.
And then Donnell has had some supplemental ones the last 2 years where she's gonna go over on part-time and funds it partially. So that one's not a consistent one, that one's when she comes and asks, so. We will sign those prior to the budget adoption, because if they don't sign off on the MOU, there are positions that will not be funded in the budget.
Okay.
Okay. So. The next adjustment was in information systems. And Debbie left a note on that one. I did not go backwards and do my due diligence of looking at adjustments to that person in the past, but they got a significant amount this year in the budget.
There was a significant one last year, if I remember correctly, for.
Yeah, so
that
took
person.
effect in January of this year.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was $6,000, so,
I mean, as great a job as I think they do, I can't swallow that one either.
so that one's up to you guys if you want. It was just a flat dollar amount, so it was not to a particular salary amount. So I did not adjust it when I adjusted the COLA in any way.
Shoot.
It was 5,000.
It was 6,000 last year.
My notes are lying to me then. So,
I just have Debbie's note.
I thought 6,000 was this year. Request.
6,000 took effect in January of this year.
Okay, I had 5,000 in my notes, so my secretary's slacking.
So that one I truly, you guys
Have to have
decide
talk
if
with
you wanna
him.
do it. Again, it was prior to any COLA, so that COLA number is a
Helps it.
significant dollar amount, so you're gonna be above.
It was prior to any COLA.
Correct. So they asked for the 2,000 without knowing what the COLA was.
And the COLA exceeds that number.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would,
So you wanna take it out?
Yeah, I'm with Jeff on
Mhm.
this one.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yep,
Next one is Greg Camp. So I did include an adjustment for the one employee that was under the 15. I did adjust it down to be exactly what it would be to get her to the $15 an hour. Greg did have some additional requests that I didn't include. He asked for an additional employee and some significant salary adjustments.
I'm thinking something about salary adjustments of 20 and 10,
Yes, 20,000 for the director.
yes, and the
And
10
then
was split a
10,000.
couple ways, or
He
different.
never submitted to me what the 10,000 breakdown was. Actually, in the original notes to the budget, it was 30,000 for the director, is what was in the notes.
Okay. I think there is some adjustment in play, but it's not that big. Not 30, not 20.
I think, yeah. So I did have that sheet,
Is that over on that,
so he would be one of your department directors on that comparison sheet.
that was an email?
Yes, well, I emailed it to you prior to.
So there was a pretty big, significant change to our facilities director.
So here is. So per your guys' request, I went back to 18 and did your directors. These are the adjustments from 18 until now for the particular directors. It may not have been the same person in 18, but that's change.
director.
Change from, yep, change from 18 to now.
Yeah, I didn't look at that too. Whoops. Oh, Harry's Court.
So I don't know that that director is lagging behind in adjustments. It just may be that he had a lower salary starting out.
Line number 7's not a director. Or you just got the wrong name in there.
I copied and pasted. I accidentally pasted
Oh,
that
okay.
one. Sorry.
So that's just a spare on there.
Yeah.
Now line number 10 is due to other extenuating.
Yes, it's related to,
Yeah.
yes, COVID.
Right.
And we need to talk about that one to decide if you're leaving it or changing it or what you're doing with it.
Right.
And so
But yes.
it's right in line with a lot of the other ones and way over a couple other ones. And then percentage wise, it's more.
Take that one out.
And we've also tried to relieve some of the duties off of that position by giving an assistant or a deputy for.
What's the hard number? This is the increase.
Yes, so hard number, and this, I actually need to change this to 5.5.
It rounded it to 6 for you.
Well, it's just rounded at the top.
Quit rounding. No, you don't have to change it. I mean, I know what you got going.
There it is. And obviously, there have been multiple directors that have changed in the last couple of years. So EMS, Public Works, Emergency Management, Juvenile. And then Sheila is obviously new, so her history is not there. There was no Human Resource Director prior to.
Oh. Let me one other thing again.
No, I think our adjustments have been right in line and so if we were gonna do anything, I'd rather do somewhere down the line when we have merit raises, and then we can go through with all our directors and, evaluate.
I just have this isn't a philosophy, but a thought that, except for the newest one on the page there's only one that's under 60,000. And I think it ought to be at least 60,000.
It's a little different jobs, though.
They're little different jobs, but he's got, how many folks he have to kind of keep herd on?
7. I think there's 8 with him.
Well, and he's not really just basically a 8 to 4:30 person.
Who is? You tell me any of them that are in that list. There's nobody that's a 8 to 5 person.
Well,
They're-
he's,
every one of them's got their, well, they may be sitting there with Mount Rushmore in the background. They're still working.
oh,
I mean,
we gotta get a background just to put up here behind.
so,
Uh,
So,
what I would like to do, if we're gonna put it in
Should I
there,
ask Brian's calling, should I? Yeah, he hung up.
he must have dialed the wrong number.
Yeah.
If you put it in there, I think we need to do evaluations, and at that point, decide if we're gonna do it. Cause I don't wanna talk personnel here if we talk about that position. It's one thing, we can put it in there.
Well, I said my piece. I think it ought to be at least $60,000 in the budget.
so that adjustment would be 1,809.89 additional to get us to that point.
Now, whether or not the payroll sheet comes around and gets signed is a second issue, right? This
Yeah,
puts it
I-
in the budget, and this is under the commission. It's not dependent upon other elected official to spend their budgeted money.
Well, if y'all approve it, I mean, it's part of the budget at that point, if we're gonna go ahead and do it and send a pay form through, so.
I would like to ask that going forward, when the budget requests are due in September, if you guys would give me some idea if you want to do department head adjustments. I would like to have the ability to try to include those in the budget if it's something you're thinking about.
I was going to, but Debbie didn't request one, so we just didn't put it in there.
I did mention that.
So Debbie messed up again, is that what you're saying?
Well, she did mention she was gonna request 20,000 raise for herself as well.
I did not say that.
So I think that the department directors are in an odd
They
odd
are.
position.
If they don't ask for it, they're not gonna get it. If they do ask for it, they look like they're,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Are
so
being-
it is
yeah.
a tight spot for them to be in. You don't wanna ask to give yourself a raise, but
Right.
in some circumstances.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, that's the best way to get a raise is to ask for one.
Or make you mad.
Well, I would agree on
Okay, I'm just saying.
60 for Greg, and I
Man,
think
it's-
maybe even Jill and Debbie.
It's no difference than, if your kids are wanting something, if, yeah, you're probably scared to ask, but you sure as hell aren't gonna get it if you don't ask for it. Well, except for maybe in this case, and now Sam's throwing it out there to give it to you anyway, so. No, I think y'all should ask if,
Can you go back to that one you had,
The previous one, yep.
you got this one, yeah.
we're taking a lot of stuff off that plate too. I mean, don't even
Yeah,
have to push
dollar
the
amount
snow in the
for
parking
stuff,
lots
it's
and,
18.
different things, so. So I don't know if Harry was proposing bringing it to 60 or just thinking out loud.
Well, no,
I just put it in to see how much it would cost, so 1,809.89 would be what,
To bring to 60.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Harry had
Yeah,
mentioned something at 60, so.
that's what, I just thinking, except for the newest one who's only been here, and then again, do we think about our EM fellow here at this time? He's been here for some months, but, or a couple months. Did we make any representations to him on the way in that we look at anything later?
I don't think so. I know we have with some where, you know, they have kind of a,
Should ask Sheila, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we
don't remember
did.
if we did. I don't like those anyway. If you can try them out for 6 months, if you
I think
like
he's,
them,
I think
you
he's
keep
doing,
them. If not, you let them go.
I think he's doing a fantastic job.
And I will explain right now, so, EMS does not get the COLA, but he does have, the chief and the administrative assistant do not have steps, so they will get the same COLA as other employees, and that's stated in there.
Yes, okay, right.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, so they will.
and that's everyone except those paramedics and the
Yes,
EMTs?
no.
No.
Everybody that has a step chart, so that's everyone except for the chief and the administrative assistant.
Oh, okay,
Everyone
so
else has a
the
step
deputy
chart.
chief, the deputy chief,
They have a step chart.
those two have a step chart?
Yes.
Okay,
So anybody that does not have an approved step chart would get the same COLA as other employees.
all right.
Was that a question, or you're just telling me?
Well, I need someone to say yes to the 60,000 or no.
I'm fine with the 60,000.
So I have two, or you,
Got your 2.
2 cents?
And then
Okay.
the other ones,
Let's see if there's any additional information from HR on what we, I mean,
On Nick?
what I don't want to do is say, oh, yeah, we did tell you this, but we didn't put it in the budget, so we
Right.
can't do it, that kind of
Right.
thing.
Usually the only department that does like a probationary increase was Public Works, and we've kind of pushed them to get away from that because, people forget or don't submit or whatever, like hire them in at the rate you want.
Yeah, okay.
But
People forget, you think?
No,
people for-
well, he had
the
been
person
here.
getting it doesn't forget,
I
but
know.
their director or whoever forgets.
Or the commissioner forgets?
Did you have anything else in 131 you wanted to change? I didn't get a breakdown of what that 10,000 was. if
No,
there
I
was
don't want to do, I
10,000.
think with the 5.5, I think we're good there.
Okay,
No, I'm
do I
not.
have another? Do again?
Going once, going twice.
I think just, yeah, I mean, putting that in, I think,
Okay.
when was the last time we adjusted the maintenance workers?
They
We
have-
we
bumped
took them
them
up
up.
Wait a minute.
last year.
I have that one too,
Last,
so.
Oh, we added a maintenance worker last year.
They got an adjustment in. They got an adjustment in 18 to 19 and 19 to 20. Yeah,
yeah,
so here is,
I don't even know why I try to read that when you're scrolling back and
sorry,
forth.
I'm standing right here and I'm having trouble. I got glasses.
yeah, last year I think we had to, I mean, just,
we have adjusted theirs quite a bit because they were
they
under where we thought they
grossly
should be.
underpaid,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So 5.5% is gonna take them up.
Okay, are you guys good with no other adjustments? One, two.
So the bottom on the custodial worker, it'll get it up over the 30.
Yes,
32.4, was that the magic number?
31.2, they'll all be at
31.2.
31.2 at least starting,
Okay.
and that's $15 an hour.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. So health department's kind of the same way. Their adjustments were flat dollar adjustments. They were not percentages or certain salary. So I think you need to talk about whether those adjustment amounts are still, good numbers. Yep, their department's up there.
I was laughing about a joke on my
Well,
phone.
the 5.5.
As far as you know.
Let me see what's-
No, I don't.
You want me to just email this to you?
Yeah, you could. It's not the exact one because she changed it. But she's gonna email it to me real quick. Are you?
I'll email it to all three of you.
Yep. And then I'll put it on your drive.
Be sure to put, change the budget on three ring binders. We want more next year, and this goes in 3 ring binders. Then we can keep
Yeah, but it changes daily. Oh, through, I don't know what that is in here. And through your binder. Oh, this?
He wants
Yes,
the book
yeah.
and it's through yours.
I see. Oh, easy flipping.
I just emailed that.
Okay.
in. So you can open it from your email, Terry.
Okay.
And then I'll move it later. But so you're right there.
Thank you.
So I didn't have a problem with the adjustments with the 4, but you may want to possibly adjust them down a little with the 5.5. I don't know if you wanna walk through them one at a time.
This one is a big one.
Okay, so now what are we looking at here? We are looking at,
Basically that J column.
Yeah, the adjustment column.
okay,
So the 2 in yellow are the ones that were under the $15 an hour. I adjusted them down to be what they should be to get them to the $15. Anything not highlighted yellow is what was originally requested. Again, that was prior to any COLA, so. And
so
do
when
I
we go
have
look
your-
at we look at the COLA in H versus the adjustment in J,
The COLA in 8, yes.
Both together.
well, but it would still take that adjustment to get where they wanted to go, or not?
Well, so let me go back and look at her. So she's saying the average medical receptionist pay was around 32,214. So. And then the environmental people, she wanted them to come up to 46,000 is where they should have started. Except for, who was the one that was here before? I think she was trying to bring him up beyond that.
BM.
One right above, yeah, the yellow.
Yeah, I wanna look at that one and see what, isn't that who it was?
So if her goal was to get the health clinic clerk to 32,214 with the 5.5%, we've gone to 33,534.
Yes, that's good.
But is that where you wanna be?
And we have more than that now.
Her goal was to take current salary under G and add J.
Plus 4.
Well, so her goal was a 3% COLA, a 3% merit.
Okay, so 6%, and we're doing 5.5.
I know,
So we're really
That's pretty damn
within,
close.
So the additional adjustment is almost beyond that.
he's cursing, he said the word.
So, I mean, we can adjust that down.
Apologize.
No,
So-
I wouldn't, adjust it down, you'd be, yeah, I see what you're saying.
You
Yeah.
need to adjust it down.
Yeah.
At least by the 1.5.
Well,
So if the goal was 6 and they're getting 5.5,
well, then you're not adjusting down.
I'm adjusting the adjustment down.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So what dollar amount do you want the adjustment to be?
Well, take 106 of the first column. What's that?
Take what?
106%, she was looking for 3 and 3.
Yeah, well.
6% on the current, take
There.
current times 106,
6, oh,
not 106%.
So 6% would be 1765, and we're 1617.
So it just takes a few more dollars to get.
I'll take that too, for my people.
14709.
So that brings it to total to,
I'm getting
keeps
there.
kicking you back down, doesn't it?
Yeah, 30, see, that doesn't make any sense, 31,181, and she said the average salary is 32,214. So to me, she's trying to get to 32,214, right?
But she's already, this gets you to 33 and change, right?
No, it gets you to
No, I'm sorry.
31,181. Well, with the 2,500 it does, if you adjust the adjustment down, it doesn't.
Was that in her original request?
Yeah,
Yeah. Back in August.
so 32,214 is.
What was the other number we were shooting at a while ago, 31.2? 32.1?
31,2 was the $15 an hour people. So 33,534 is where they would be if you left the $2,500 adjustment in there. But that is definitely more than what she was requesting. She was requesting that they be the average medical receptionist of 32,214.
And 5.5 puts them at what? 31?
Yes, 31,034. So do you want the
Okay,
difference
so-
to
Yeah.
get them to 32,214?
Yes, that's what that was
So
my,
the AB one, she's wanting more for to get to, because she's got more experience with us. That's why there's a difference on, we're not just trying to get them all to that minimum 31.2 or 32.
it takes an
whatever, so-
adjustment of $1,180 to get
Yes.
that person there, correct? If we're just working on math here, not talking about good, bad, or indifferent, we're just
Right.
talking math.
So is that what you want?
What is, does it trap us into
Well,
some
so
other-
there's another one here. Same position. This one was 2,000 instead of 2,500. So
That's-
it looks like she was trying to take that first one a little bit higher than the other, and maybe it was based on experience, I don't know.
Cause she said more for the AB one because she has more experience with us, and 32 for DS. So that's a fairly new hire there.
Well, so
AB
we
has
wouldn't
2.5.
have been at- We wouldn't have been at 32 without the 5.5 on the other one. We wouldn't have been there before.
I think that's where she's wanting to get with it. Is get to 32 with. We can call her up if you want an explanation.
That one to 32 is 1,932.50, and we're trying to get this one to what?
Uh,
32,067?
50, yeah.
So I don't have that. Hold on. $32,210 for DS, and then $33,681 for AB.
33,681.
Yeah, that's probably here in my notes here. I just haven't found it yet. Hey, I found the 32,214.
That's more 264628. That's more than we had in there. That's more than was originally in the budget. Cause now I have a 1.5% more, and it was $2,500 and not 26.
Yeah.
Do what?
33,
On
5,
ABs?
34, 72.
Oh, wait, I go over.
So with the 1.5%, we're gonna, or the 5.5%, you're gonna get more than the,
Yeah, I was at 2,500 for the adjustment and 4% COLA. We went to the 5.5, but if you're saying that's what she wanted to get to, she's going to 2646 to get her there. 2646, 28 is what it would take to get her to the 33, whatever.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna change these both back to what they were before at the moment, just so we don't get lost.
okay, she's gonna bring the minimum for the receptionist pay to 32,210. The average medical receptionist pay is around 32,214, so she's wanting to get the one up to 32,210, and then the AB one with experience is wanting to get 33,681, and I don't know what numbers were in there before.
This is what was in there before, except for this was the 4%, not the 5.5. So I had 2,500 and 2,000,
Mhm.
but that wasn't getting them to those numbers because I only had 4% COLA.
Okay, but I don't know why, what that number was, or
Well, so let's go back.
if it changed from,
Auditor proposed, so
maybe it changed, I don't know.
so we were going to 33,093 and 31,640 were the two amounts that I had in the budget, and that was their 4% plus their adjustment.
And that was her target.
I thought that was her target, because I
But-
think she only requested a 3% COLA and then those flat dollar amount adjustments.
Is it okay to hit her target,
Just with a different combination.
a combination of 5.5 and then the
Then
plug
another-
figure to get you
That's what I
there?
was trying to get to, but I got confused.
Well, and I didn't know if we started down that road, if it led us down a road that we didn't want to go down because it trapped us into some other number that we weren't looking to
I
get
don't
to.
think so. So
Okay,
if my
okay.
target's 31,640 and 33,093. 09347. This one's, yes. So then I wanna go here. Two oh five eight seven five instead of 2,500, and this one will be. $157,250. Okay, let's go to the next. Do you want to do that with all of them the way they are?
Well, that's where we could try that and see what happens. I didn't want to get a unexpectedly rude awakening shock at the end if we did that.
No, they should all be a little bit less.
Okay.
If we do them that way.
It's because we're being
Picky.
quote, so, well, it's being,
1.5%.
that 5.5 is what is
Yes,
is making things easier to get.
so I can do that with all of them if that's what you want me to do.
The Progressive Caucus backs a 4-day work week bill. Everybody's gonna get a 20% cut in pay then, is that right? I don't think so.
I'm assuming 410s.
I bet not.
No, there's one to go 32 hours a week at the same pay.
Doesn't that sound like?
So is that gonna close offices down one day a week, so we'll have less electric and less?
You are done. You are done. You are done. Sorry, it's gonna take a minute.
That's all right. You've got a captive audience.
Have one of your peppermints.
Which one you want? One
Pepper?
green?
No, no. I'll try one of the red ones. Thank you, sir.
Red. Thank you.
Baklava right there.
Candy.
That
I'll have a
is,
piece of baklava in a minute.
that's pastry candy.
I got my leftover pizza still germinating.
Pizza House?
I wasn't gonna do any free advertising,
Oh.
you know. Yeah, it was.
I got that Mexican
We got
place.
so many good pizza places around here, though. My goodness.
Has the Mexican place opened yet, Debbie, in Russellville?
No, there's no action up there. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
Okay.
heck, Mrs. Russellville, let us know.
So, those adjustments now equal to the total that it was before, it's just the combination to get them to that salary amount is different.
Is it all third now?
Yes.
That's the Christmas parade. The Grinch. It's gonna be in custody.
So this is where she wants to be,
Yes,
and before that number was 2,500?
yes.
Down here, this is where she, no.
It's down one, sorry. It's this one.
That was 2,
Yeah,
and now it's 15.
yep.
This is where she wanted to be.
Okay.
Does it do anything goofy to anybody else?
No. Because we adjusted those WIC certifiers the same time with that $15 an hour, so most of it should still be,
So the ones with that minimum pay, I think I'm okay with. Then the other one's a pretty big jump for the environmental specialist, so that's the other one we need to talk about.
that was the one that he was here, left, came back. They only had the $44,000 position open, but he left being a 2, so they're trying to get him back up to where he would have been if he had.
Never left.
And we really haven't had to train him or anything, I mean.
So, yeah, okay.
So he had almost 5 years in before he left. Came back, was able to go right to the position, and but my only thing is that's the same argument as like, I was arguing with, you know, we're gonna have 3 environmental specialist 3s, or we're gonna say, well, you know, if they work their way up to it and they are doing it, we can do that, but otherwise are we gonna have a 1, 2, and 3, and you get to fill that number 3 position when it opens up?
So the other 2 newest ones are going to 2 as well, but they are going to 46,440.
And your 46, 440 is a little different than my schedule because, or
We
is
should
it?
have the same one.
You should have 40, their cell phone stipend, you have to look at column Q, not column R.
46, 420? No, that's a nurse.
It should be 46, 440.
But this one goes up to 50, so.
So do you have something you want to change there? Very good.
Well, the statement made that he came back.
So
and
he will be higher, so he's going to 50,685.
Okay, but when he did come back, he didn't come back at what he left at. He was moved down because the position wasn't there or the slot was there. And now we want to move him to where he was. So how long has he been back?
It's on here. March
So
Of
he's,
this year.
of this
so
year.
he's done 9 months at a lower salary. Oh, hoping, yes, okay,
I mean, that was the whole position. I mean, you know.
right.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Yes.
It's kind of a unique situation in a way.
So then it's gonna be, I'm just looking at the pay scale thing too.
This process seemed easier last year when I was sitting out there.
It's just picking and choosing.
On the
It's not
outside
nice.
looking in.
Well, I was here though. I think I was here for all the hearings
I don't see
and all the
why.
meetings or whatever, but
We
I
thought
mean-
it was easy, we changed
This
stuff.
is a lot easier than years we couldn't afford to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Hopefully this will be the worst budget you've ever
but I
seen.
remember, I think the last thing my predecessor said when he left was
Worst budget he's ever seen.
no, he said, take care of your people. That's what he said.
So I mean, that just puts it over the top for a EPH 1 or 2. So, I don't mind giving them, rewarding them, you know, for coming back. They saw the errors of their mistake for leaving us. But I'm just, we're paying them EPH 2, so if that's what we're gonna do, then we might as well give them a title too. And that's just something that I've dinged others on, so I also wanted to bring that up as well. All right.
Good.
Are
I'm
good?
good. I'm good, too.
We do need to talk about Christie's salary, so we did adjust it due to COVID. I left it in there at what it currently is. If you guys want to make any change to that, you
Well,
can.
let me throw something out. This is just thinking out loud, which is dangerous. Her 5.5 is computed on what number?
On the current amount, so the 101, 230, 260.
Is that the right way to do it?
I'm bringing to you in closed session to ask you that question because it is supposed to end, according to the pay form I had, on December 11th.
So the amount that we were paying extra was through the relief funds, right? Was it a flat amount or was it a percentage? I
It was
forget.
a hard, no, it's so much, it was $7 an hour.
Cause I think you should back that out and do the percent raise, and then if we decide,
That's what my
So-
thought is, go back to the
Prior to the
base.
$7.
Right, whatever that salary was, times 5.5, that's the COLA for that position.
and then if we do the $7 on top of it,
If we
it's
do
on
it,
top
if we
of.
renew it, that's on
I
top of
need that
that.
number.
So,
Does that make sense?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Just know in the back of your head, if you do not decide to change her salary by that amount, she will be limited with the ARPA funding. Because the max you can do is the $13 an hour or 25,000, so I don't think you can double dip here. So if you're saying she's still getting hazard pay at $7 an hour, that takes that $7
Out of the 13.
Right.
That's fair.
okay,
Okay, just so you all know,
There's still a lot going on, because this morning, you know, because of our Attorney General, the schools there was a meeting
He's saying he can't do it, didn't
at
he?
1 o'clock where all of the school districts, you know, our school, were getting together. Christie was initiating that.
so that will go there. This can go back to you. I don't have anything else in the health department. You guys good?
I think that was it.
Yep.
Juvenile. Same thing, we had the one person that was going to the $15 an hour. I adjusted his adjustment back to be that.
That was the cook?
Then they
Yeah.
had two others that they wanted to give $2,500 to. It was the receptionist and the office
me
manager.
numbers.
73.
And that was supposed to be the final change from all the changes she made in October.
That's the juvenile salary you have up there?
Yes. So it's this 2,500 and this 2,500. Do we want to do the same thing here and adjust it back to what it was in total?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
And these adjustments are just adjustments that made the cut. There was other people that asked for adjustments, so they didn't make the cut, or what are we doing here?
Yep.
Well, they're getting the 5-5,
Who,
so,
who else made,
I don't know, did we knock anything off the list on her?
so I didn't get the breakdown on your adjustments of who they were for. I didn't get Greg's breakdown, and I didn't get the prosecutor, so those are the three I know didn't get included. Because they weren't specific to people.
So Debbie, I guess you're asking, some people requested it and not getting it, but we've also had adjustments in prior years, or possibly they were asking for an adjustment and the 5.5 COLA got them to where they wanted to be, so, and other reasons. So, we've done this every year. We've had some that did, some that didn't. But if you don't ask, you're for sure not gonna get it, so.
What we do ask.
You did? Again this year? Did you, was that in your request? Where's yours at? Where's commission at? We can go through that right now.
I didn't specify it per person, just like the sheriff wanted merit money to do with his people, basically what it was in there for.
And he got some, didn't he?
I don't know, I missed that.
Cause he asked for it, but I didn't see it in your budget request, Debbie,
It
so.
didn't get past the auditor, or? did-
Right, so yes, she had
Oh, okay, let's go.
$10,000 in adjustments, but it was not broken down by person. So anybody that asked for a flat amount, I didn't include. Like,
Oh, for
there's a
the
lot-
commission budget, then Debbie did have it in there.
Yes,
Did we not
Can
go
you,
over this?
can you do something with that 10 to identify it by dollar, by person? I'd look at it.
Yeah, I was,
But to her argument, she's saying, just give me 10 and I'll go through the evaluations and split it up that way like the sheriff's gonna do. So, not picking on either one of them, but I think that's what David's saying, just give me a pot of money and let me
Well,
pick the
our
winners and losers and,
Yeah. But if she knew what was in our heads or on in other heads on how to ask for it by name versus by department, maybe she would have asked for it.
but same with the sheriff then, we can say, well, we want you to bring, I want you to bring it to tell me who's gonna get it and so, I see what you're saying, but.
Usually rate our people 1 to 5, and depending on how they get, 1 to 5 is how much merit they get. So they're not gonna, nobody will get the same.
And that's why it was just a pot of money, just like you were asking for.
So, is that where we're going now to the
let's
commission?
finish that, and then we do have those departments that asked, like the prosecutor did the same thing. We've done maintenance. So we'll circle back around
Okay.
and make sure we pick them up. Let's finish the ones that are in here
That's
at the
fine,
moment.
keep going, whatever order you had it in, and
Was there,
The prosecutor was the same way. His was a flat ask of $75,000. There was no definition of what the $75,000 was for. It was merit pool of $75,000.
so it could all go to one, or it could be split 75 ways if you had 75 people?
Yeah.
That's what happened with
Black
Eric,
collar would
the
have
one-
been easier. Not easier, but.
Should we make this, follow the same rule for him?
That he has to submit something to break it down.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I think you sent him an email, did you not?
yeah, he's out of town or something this week too, so I don't know what it's,
He's on the agenda for Tuesday too for closed session because of those two trade forms. So we can ask him at that point, but I know we want to get this done too.
So, we are down to, and child support was the same way. They asked for additional 4% merit pool.
We're not a believer in pools, we're a believer in name and amount.
Depends what fund you're in. I'm not being smart, but yeah.
yes, you are.
Try not to be smart about it.
Now you're just trying to trick us. I'm not trying to be smart, wait a minute.
So, do you want to reach out to them as well?
You've met Debbie, our fourth commissioner, right?
Right, no, you're not.
Oh, Debbie was having fun with you.
Yes. What was the question?
Reach out to child support to ask
Well,
for that as
I
well?
mean, do you make that ask at the same place?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah, because they came down
Have-
together.
yeah, that's right. Child support, yes.
So next.
I was getting confused with Boca or Baca or whatever, but.
Yeah, we don't know about those two
Those
grants.
two grants are.
And that's what she's worried
I
about
am
is the
worried.
one, because we should have gotten notification on it.
So now we're back to parks. Are we good with a person in parks and a part-time person in parks?
I am, but I'm on the Parks Committee, that's why I'm saying yes.
I just don't want it. Well, okay, I'm fine with us designating a person to do parks, but not adding a person from Public Works to do. We're either adding a person to parks or we're adding a person to Public Works, I guess.
Well, so you're not really adding a person to Public Works.
Well,
You're adding a person to parks. So you're not removing one and it's not a trade.
there is a net one additional warm body is in front of us here.
Yes.
And at this point, that person is landing in, under the Parks title.
Yes.
Because Public Works doesn't really want to give up a
one.
person.
Yep.
Although in his current year, this past year, there has been a person in Public Works that has worked a lot in parks.
So that's really the part-time piece, so we were paying $18,000 to Public Works for a portion of someone's salary. We're leaving that part-time person there, but we're not removing anybody from Public Works. So
And that number is 42 for next year.
42 for the full-time person, 18,000 for a part-time person, plus benefits.
Well, I like the idea of
For the full-time.
having them
Well,
in
it's
the
the full-
wintertime to move
Is it?
snow.
Oh, okay. Is that person been identified?
The full-time person?
Yeah.
I think they have someone from Public Works that wants to apply, but I don't think that there's been any, I think they're gonna open it up, I don't know. Like, open it.
So that part-time person is a retiree?
Mhm.
The part-time person has been identified, and yes, it would be a retiree.
Okay. I know there's a lot to do in parks, but I don't know if it really requires that full-time person for the full year. I think
Well,
that
but
person is
in the
gonna,
winter,
well, I'm just saying, it doesn't snow every day, even in the winter, but, so I think that person really is gonna float back over there and help.
Well, so their argument is that, like, emptying of trash, checking for graffiti, you know, checking the bathrooms, but I don't see that as full day. Now, they are going to do the landscaping of the building, so trimming of trees and pulling of weeds.
Not
and-
here.
No,
Yes, the
Yes,
landscaping
always.
piece.
Okay.
yes,
Landscape,
not the
sure.
mowing,
Yeah, not the
Okay.
mowing.
So then take one from maintenance and move it to parks, or take half one from maintenance and move to park, and half one from, public works, to where we're not really adding anybody, because that's gonna take some stuff off the plate of maintenance, which I really think we could have a separate person doing.
Well, I tried to bring that up a little bit
Yeah.
and even add another halftime person in parks and have them do all the mowing and even the sidewalks and things like,
I don't disagree. I think that would be a good way to, well, to look at it anyway.
well,
Explore.
and I mean, I don't know that Greg's fully staffed at the moment, but he does have one person, I think, that's talking about leaving during the year, and maybe through attrition.
They could-
Eliminating one here and adding one.
They
I
could
don't
concentrate
know.
on maintenance, actual maintenance of the buildings, custodial work in the buildings, and be
I will
focused
put in
on
my
that.
2 cents, I wish they cleaned more. The
So-
bathrooms upstairs are disgusting.
We're lacking in the custodial part.
There's if you go to cocounty.org employee portal, you can go onto the custodian IT or custodian request thing, and I'd fill them out. I mean, if we have to add us to the email list too, because that should go to,
Talk into like anybody that's having issues with cleaning, please go out and fill out a reference
absolutely,
form.
yeah. Because they'll get the emails, and that's what we're doing with Public Works too, and it holds them accountable. They've got the list to go with. So, and really, you're not interrupting them then with a phone call. They're trying to get other stuff done, you're calling, so. I think so, anyway. So, back to the groundskeeping. What your all's thoughts are on that. So he does have one retiring midway through the year.
I don't know that for sure, I don't know that he's filled out paperwork
And
or
I've
anything,
heard,
but
yeah.
I've heard a rumor up to that effect.
And it may be even to the end of the year.
Right, it may not be, it may be December of next year, I don't know.
Okay.
I think that one's one you need to kind of look at. If we could hire out some of the custodial things or, you know, put mowing under parks, is that freeing up the maintenance to truly do maintenance?
Custodial.
Maybe it's painting or, you know, things to upkeep to try to prevent us from having to spend more money. I don't know, but that's just, again, my 2 cents. I don't know if that's.
Well, they're already gonna do the snow in the parking lots. What other stuff were they gonna do to take that
Well,
off
so
of
it's
the?
not all the snow, so parks right now is snow in the parking lot, it's not the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Correct.
Um,
But that's where I would go, is if they're gonna do it, just have them come out here and do the sidewalks at the same time.
I guess that's what you guys need to, what is the end game, what is the? I think you have the ability, if you're going to create that parks department, to define what their responsibilities are.
I'm tainted because I attend these parks meetings. I see the enthusiasm and the thoughts of the Parks Committee people, and they want to see our parks bigger, better, more used, and so.
I
they've
don't have an
started-
argument with that, as long as we figure out a way to create some revenue to pay for parks.
Well, that's like, I don't know, that's like saying, we need to build that road, but we gotta have some, we need to generate some revenue to build that road. Some things you just, you know, some things you furnish to people, and you don't ask them to pay for it directly.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
potentially.
okay, we've got a little pavilion out there. I don't know if we rent that thing out or
We
anybody.
do.
But,
So there is a small amount of revenue in rental fees for the pavilion.
right,
But I could see parks growing exponentially. At what point do you say, I can't afford to do more parks.
And they, you know, they wanna do a dog park, where people, it's gonna be fenced, so wanna let your dog run a little bit, but, I don't see charging an admission price to bring a
No.
little dogs
No,
or
but
50 cents.
You know how
and big
much
dog-
money we make at our Lions Club for the ball fields by having signs on those fences every year? A lot of money. And that's something that we could look into, and when I was talking to some of these groups that were looking at the dog parks, I mean, that's
Well, the
an
next-
option.
The next time they do the disc golf redo, every hole could be sponsored with, it's
Right.
gonna have a sponsor on it.
The one down there at Taos is talking about doing that, and they contacted me about it. And so,
We'll need another person to keep track of it.
That doesn't matter.
it's not gonna be a windfall that's gonna
Right.
take care of everything else for parks. But every
Ever
little
seen
bit
a
helps.
Honey Creek there, I think it's like $50 or $40 or something to have my name on there, so.
They put it on the bathroom in the stall with your phone
Probably,
number.
yeah.
Sorry, Sam. So,
Back-
okay, so.
Shiny object, back to parks. Are you all three good with a full-time and a part-time person at the moment?
I'm gonna say yes and see what happens.
I'd say, well, let's try it. Potentially we could have another park sometime in the future too. And,
So we're gonna add a position to the parks, and Public Works will keep their guy that used to
Yeah.
take care of it. And
And I assume they're providing a truck.
They're part-time reduced.
Part-time?
yeah, I'm not really wanting to add one, but you got two of them, so
All right, we got.
run.
Let's roll.
So the question was posed, is Public Works is part-time reduced? If I could pull it up correctly. And it did slightly. We went from 52.4 to 40, so 12,400. Okay, circuit clerk. She currently has, or has had, since we misspoke, it was 13, we added a part-time person. It was $11 an hour for a 1,000-hour person.
For a
To-
temporary fix to get something done.
It was to do scanning to try to get the files out of the attic. We
That's
have
the one's
asked her
500.
for information about that project, but it was supposed to be a 1-year help us out kind of thing. That was in 2013. It's still here. It's growing. We want to take it to 1350.
Moving it to a part of a different direction for helping train her people.
Yeah, so the discussion the other day doesn't make me feel like they're doing scanning anymore. I took it to 1350 for the 1,000-hour person. She wanted to add an additional 500 hours to that.
And that's more for training, is what I put on the note is, that's more for training.
So, my 2 cents is that if they're not doing the original job that they were out there to do, I don't know why we're still funding that position, but.
That's a fair question. I had the same question.
So I don't know how long you want to give Donnell to respond. Debbie sent the email yesterday or the day before.
By next Tuesday.
I can send an email to her. I did not put a drop dead. I think I said as soon as possible. Maybe I did not.
I don't know if you want to put in the commissioners, speaking for the commissioners are questioning the continuation of the expenditure when it seems to have drifted away from the original intent.
And it's kind of what I did in the original email. Basically, tell us where you're at on this project,
Yeah.
I mean, I can get more stern with it, but.
So it's for 1 year back in 2013. Here we're in 2021. Yeah, we need.
And I know Jeff likes to pay for things for the state.
How many boxes do we have up there in the attic?
A bunch.
They should, I thought they were down to 1 page of information, and I thought that they had made it
You're
into
right.
it, so I don't know what's left in the attic.
I think that we should have an estate sale of some of those cabinets and of those, because some of those are invaluable,
Yeah.
people would buy.
And I have said that we
Problem
really,
is getting them down here.
yeah,
Well, that's true.
we really need to get that stuff down.
That's part of the deal. You buy it, you
You
get it
come and
out.
get it.
So I think that that's a problem as well, though.
Yes.
That set of steps is the
I don't know how
worst
you'd
set of
even get them
steps.
up there.
Well,
Take-
some of
remove a
that
window.
stuff you can't get out of
Oh.
there, but the cabinets could come down the steps, but,
They did that with a big mainframe. They took out the window and brought the
Yeah.
mainframe in. I remember that.
yeah, well, there's a desk up there in Bill Farsol's office that the only way it's coming down is out the window.
I'll
You're
cut
not
it in
coming down
half.
the steps
Or it'd be
unless you tear it
disassembled.
apart.
I've got a saw.
But I really do think at some point that stuff needs to come out.
Yeah.
Whose job it is. I think there's a liability issue if you tell the person that bought it they have to move it because if they fell down the steps or something.
But definitely if we do something different with that so over here, this compound, or this project that we're talking about, that needs to be at the same time.
Because there is I don't know, there's probably 50 file cabinets up there.
At least, yeah. Most of them came from surplus property anyway, so they're pretty bad. You know, it's not, we got
I
them
was
for
gonna
our-
say, what are you gonna do with them when you take them out of there?
Just sell it by
I
lot.
will tell you, the thing that makes the most money off surplus sales for us is file cabinets.
Really?
Yes.
They're great
They haven't
storage.
seen those.
Use them in your garage,
Well,
your shop.
yeah.
Those are not like.
But people put them in their garage or whatever, just, I mean, storage.
Yeah.
People buy them though, especially those older metal cabinets.
Well, if they're, I thought y'all were saying they're in pretty bad shape though.
I don't know, some of them
Well, they-
probably are.
Well, they're
Some of them don't
antique.
shut.
It makes them more valuable, Jeff.
Okay,
Scrapping them, maybe.
Just
So-
makes them old.
I don't know if I've missed anybody or anything. We do have a few departments we want some more information on. I don't know that you're gonna get it by tomorrow. So my suggestion would be that we do not meet tomorrow. Other than you do have something on the agenda, I think, in the morning. Appointment to,
Oh, well, appointment to
Board.
Heartland Port Authority.
Move that to next Tuesday.
Yeah, let's see, when is that meeting? I think that will work. Hold on a minute.
It's a closed session. Jeff, do you remember what the closed session was?
personnel.
Shoot.
Oh, tomorrow? You have a close tomorrow?
We really,
Jeff, it was a.
no,
pretty
we
fine-
should do this. Is it on tomorrow?
It is.
Uh,
But there's a closed session too, so if you have to be here for the closed, you can. I don't know. My suggestion would be though that we don't meet tomorrow and we wait and meet Tuesday and try to wrap up all the final things and see if we
Okay,
get the
okay.
information requested.
That works. The Heartland Port Authority Board meeting for December is on the 16th. So
You could still. do-
we could do this on Tuesday, the 14th,
The appointment.
the appointment.
You know what the closed is?
And the closed is for tomorrow too?
There's a closed personnel.
I've
Well, it's from
forgotten.
Tuesday's closed and we said we were,
Yeah, we just decided on the 7th to do that.
Well, I thought we were trying to bring Locke in, but he cannot because he's out.
Oh,
I think if you look, you're right, if you look at the original, I don't know why, when I bring it up on my phone, then when we cross out ones, it's not showing up. Do you have your original calendar on your computer?
Too long.
I got this, closed session personnel,
Yeah, but I think,
appointment to the Port Authority, meeting to start at 8 a.m. We'll break for lunch, budget discussion.
Anyone listening, or do you have a closed session tomorrow? Please let us know. Anybody listening?
yeah, I scratched it out. I don't know why, when I look at it on my phone, it doesn't scratch out. So no, we do not have a
It's
closed
not
session.
scratched out on mine either, tricked
Yeah,
me.
I don't know why it doesn't do that.
So are you guys good with that? No meeting
Yes,
tomorrow
yes,
and
yes.
try to wrap up Tuesday?
Yes.
I mean, we're really close. It's just those final departments we've requested additional information. Oh, I do have one response we did get. So Eric Landwehr responded that there are 2 additional iPads that he needs to get the service for on top of the 2 hotspots. Are you guys good with me adding that back in?
I am, yes. I'm worn out, that's all.
Yeah, me too.
I wanna do my budget last and you guys are wore down. There you go, Debbie. Commission budget's last. I don't know, I just get confused about the hotspots and the iPads, which an iPad can be used as a hotspot. So if Brian said okay, then I'm all right with it.
Well, I think it was Brian's recommendation that they add 2 hotspots, but that's in addition to them wanting 2 more iPads.
Just, I'm fine adding it when they run out of money, they're just out of money, so if that's what they wanna use it on, so.
We're gonna do that. That's the only one I had respond. Debbie, did you have a running list of who we sent questions to? I did not keep track of that.
I'd have to look at my emails, because I've sent all of them.
Oh, speak of the devil, there he is.
Where's your hat?
Whoa. It's bad luck putting it inside.
It's bad luck to run with scissors too. Actually, you can just remove the scissors part of it and it's bad luck to run.
We're done for the day, Brian. Go away.
This is the perfect time to show up.
No.
Yes,
That's a
we're wore down,
baklava.
wore down
That's
and
a
grouchy.
baklava.
I tried to get hold of you on the phone earlier.
I know it rang and then I,
It was on Do Not Disturb.
I hear you. I just went straight to voicemail.
what did you, something to come before us?
No, I heard my department being mentioned in the way of the salaries and increases and stuff like that.
Oh, did we ever say anything on that one?
I thought you agreed to it.
You reckon 5.5%?
We didn't.
No.
You want me to go get her to turn that?
Yeah, we're still in open session, so, do we want to recess until 4:30?
Did we
Are
do?
you wanting to recess or do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, is
I
it,
thought I heard you about the hot spots.
No.
Oh,
Did the
yeah.
hotspots, but you also
Oh.
had a
We
request
were
in
trying
there
to figure
for
out,
the employees too. Did we ever
Yeah,
talk
we
about
did.
that?
we did.
Yeah.
Did y'all approve it?
No.
Okay.
we gave him 5.5?
No.
Public Works had in their original budget 2 additional hotspots, and now they're adding 2 additional tablets with internet service. So Jeff's confusion was the difference between why do we need 2 hotspots if we're getting tablets that have cellular service?
Unless they went a total of 4. You know?
Why can't the pad, if the pad's gonna be
It says
activated?
recommended by Brian Ridenhour is how they put it in their budget.
But
Oh.
I noticed there's certain other officials that use that name too.
So, I guess if you have you can have your pad with its own number,
Right.
and you can have a hotspot with its own number.
That's right.
So why would I just have an iPad with its own number that I can use as a hotspot and I can do everything I'm needing to do with it?
You can do that. Yeah.
So
My thing is
otherwise they have a pad that's connected to the.
Yeah. Right. Well, I guess that's my question is are they like 4 total?
I
So-
don't, that
I
was
don't
the
know.
question we posed.
We need to
and
find
the
out.
answer we
We
got
need to
was
ask.
Ask
The
Brian.
additional request
We
is
need
for
to ask.
AT&T internet service for 2 additional iPads that we plan to purchase. We also had 2 hotspots in our budget as recommended by Brian Ridenhour, and those were approved by Kristen.
See, that sounds like to me that they're going to use the hotspots for the iPads. Because it didn't say iPads with cellular data.
Well, that's what we're putting in, the cellular data for the iPads.
Yeah. So yeah, you would need both.
So I can take one out.
As long as they're not going for 4. Like if they're just going for 2.
We need to get a
I think
clarification
they already
from
had 2
them.
and they have that. They are going for 2 more with the 2 new ones. Sounded like to me. They did again.
I don't,
The additional request was for AT&T internet service for 2 additional iPads we plan to purchase.
So they got the
We
pads.
also have 2 hotspots in our budget as recommended by Brian Ridenhour.
But Brian recommends it, it's gotta be,
Hotspots are fast.
So that sounds like me to total.
I remember the conversation. If they already have 2 iPads, that's why they want the hotspots, but when they're buying additional 2 iPads with the cellular data in it.
But that's not what it is.
And pie.
Because
That makes sense.
they have 15
That's-
tablets.
Well,
Yep, they
So
have
we have
13, they
15
want
tablets
15.
with internet on them already. We wanna add 2 more.
well,
And then we're adding 2 hotspots.
I don't remember, I remember them talking about it specifically to,
Okay, someone call Eric Lindmer and get an answer to
Bring him
this
tomorrow.
question.
Hey, if he's
We're
not listening
coming
right now, he's on his
tomorrow,
own.
John,
He should be listening.
we are not coming in tomorrow.
There'll be all kinds of them coming in.
an hour.
What?
Someone,
I'll bring,
What?
Are you calling?
2202 on the phone.
Who?
2202.
we'll go an hour, I'll bring some cinnamon rolls. Hot. Fresh cinnamon rolls.
2202.
2202. I thought it was 202.
No, 2202.
Hey, Eric, this is Sam. Hey, we're sitting here trying to figure out, you've got 2 tablets and then 2 hotspots. Do you need both?
We were just debating that here just not too long ago. We think we don't need one of the tablet AT&T internet services. The 2 hotspots are recommended by Brian right now, and that's to work at home for people that have to do that periodically, whatever, that don't have good internet service.
That's right.
Okay,
So it sounds like you're down to 2 hotspots and 1 iPad with cellular data.
2 hotspots and 1 iPad.
I'm just leaving this at 13511.
Okay.
They requested.
So the hotspots, how do they not have, how's a hotspot gonna help them have better service? 'Cause if they don't have good service, the hotspots are about as bad as anything getting around trees and hills and rocks and deer.
Teresa does not have enough, or good enough internet service to be able to do the BSNA program. And she's had to work at home, working on timesheets.
I think Melody has a hotspot. Yeah.
And it's something that can be, as I understand it, moved from, you know, they can just be kept here, and if somebody needs to take it home, they can do that. You know, we might be able to just go with 1.
Okay, but what, did I miss the part about, are the pads
You're talking about different.
got service or not?
The iPad will have an internet service with it.
I'm done.
So you can
These
use
are
an
separate,
you can use an iPad, you can use your phone, you can use whatever has service as a hotspot, right?
That's correct. And Teresa
So why don't you
has-
bring one of the iPads you have home and use it as a hotspot instead of buying hotspots?
The iPads are checked out to certain people. It's not, there's not floaters.
these are 2 separate,
Yes.
2 separate. It's not, the tablets and the iPad aren't one issue.
The tablet, sorry, the iPad.
Hey, so I tell you the same thing I'm telling my kids, you can wait till Dylan gets done with it and you can use his for your hotspot.
So it's an
But
additional
if you have 15 checked
$595.
out and 15 of them using it at home, I mean, my computer at home has got where I can have, well, I've got like 4 users on it.
There are 15
I don't
are
want
checked
Kathy
out to
seeing
guys
everything that
out
I'm
doing
looking at.
projects.
Might be looking at her Christmas present.
So,
Huh?
All right, just Brian okayed it, so.
that's right. Brian.
Yeah, Brian okayed it, so.
I see where you're coming from, Eric. I think we could do it better ways instead of having to pay another $35 a month fee for that and
can we,
40.
can you table that and we were just talking about our iPads, and can I clarify that when Carrie gets back tomorrow?
Well, if it's okay with everybody, it's in your budget. If you don't need it, then you guys are good about not using it. And we got control over your budget, so we will mess with you.
Jeff, we were planning on adding 2 iPads, and we
Yeah.
really just need 1. So we can take it back one of those iPad services. But let me verify that 100%.
Let's leave it as it
Might be
is.
that we'll just go with what Christmas is.
Okay,
On the hotspots, that's something for us, and Brian had recommended 2. I'm okay if we need to just go with 1. That'll save some money there too. So can I, with Carrie being gone for the day, she'll be back tomorrow, I can clarify this and we can get a definite on it.
We have
Okay.
to know by Tuesday, Eric.
next Tuesday's the drop dead date.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Alright, so if we need to change it, just let us know before next Tuesday,
Yeah.
but did you hear what he's saying, basically, if you leave it the way it is, it's either a hotspot or an iPad.
Yeah, I
He
think I'm just
gets
gonna leave in there what we,
two, so,
Okay.
okay, well,
Can I just, let me talk to Carrie in the morning, and I'll let you know by 9 AM or so what we need on that.
you're fine.
Okay.
Like I said, just before Tuesday.
Okay,
It'll definitely be tomorrow.
okay,
Okay,
bye.
alright, thanks, Eric.
Motion to recess.
Second,
Alright,
aye.
wait, did we ever talk about Brian's employee?
Yeah,
we did, you said no.
No.
We're in
you didn't say no.
recess.
You did say no.
Let's try it back home.
You got two that said no.
Okay.